Hi you guys, I hope you're doing well. So today's video is going to be a bit different than my other videos. Recently I had some people ask me questions about my opinion living in Shanghai. Also, some people are considering moving to Shanghai or Asia, and they want to know what is the difference between Western culture and Asian culture. Now, some background about me is when I was younger, I studied abroad in Spain for about 5 months. When I was there, it was one of the best times of my life. It's still one of my most favorite times of my life. And I always believed I was gonna move to Europe. So because I went to Europe when I studied abroad, and I adjusted really well when I moved abroad. I went by myself. It was through my school, but the program, no one else from my actual school went with me. I met with people from different schools in Wisconsin. So I was completely by myself. I was a little bit nervous, but I ended up becoming like best friends with my roommate, and we still keep in touch this day. So that was like a great experience for me, and it was only 5 months at a time. And it's kind of why I felt comfortable to come and move to China by myself, because I always said, if I don't like China, I can always go back home. And I was 23 when I first came to China, so I didn't really have anything, like any priorities. I had a dog, but I'm so happy that my parents have my dog now, and he's doing great. I still feel bad about leaving my dog. But other than that, I didn't have like anything to hold me back. So if you're in this kind of position where you don't have children, you don't have, priorities back home, then why not move somewhere and just see if you like it, because maybe you'll love it. I want to go over some pros and cons about living in Shanghai. Now, Shanghai is not like the rest of China. So don't take my advice if you're gonna go move to Wuhan or Beijing. Actually, many of my friends and people I know dislike Beijing. Some people like it, but it's completely different than living in Shanghai. On the positive note, the pros is that Shanghai is a metropolitan city, and it is so convenient, and it's quite cheap for a big city. Taxis here are very cheap and very easy to get. Metro here is, I think it's very clean and one of the best organized metros in the world. So you don't need a car, you don't need to pay for a car, you don't even need an e-bike, but I have an e-bike because it's better. But if you don't like bicycles or biking in the city, whatever, take the metro, take a DD when you need, and it's convenient and cheap. Salaries for Westerners when you work abroad are much better. I'm an English teacher, so salaries here are quite good. And if I do my salary plus the cost of living, I can still save a lot, and I have this financial freedom, which is one of the main reasons I haven't gone back to the US. It seems since I've been here, I've been in Asia since 2018, the US salaries are about the same for most careers. For teachers, they haven't really increased. However, price of living, rent has gone up, phone bills are crazy expensive, gas has gone up, groceries have gone up. So when I actually think about it financially, it makes the most sense for me to be in Asia, and I can save. So now the first con would be that I'm far away from my family. There's nothing you can do about it. Obviously, when you move abroad, and I'm from the US, so to go from the US to China is literally like the other side of the world. And I had some hard times, especially this year, when I feel like I really needed that comfort of my family, just feeling lonely and whatever. So when you live abroad, it's really important that you find friends and a support system, so that when you do feel lonely, you can go lean on that, because you don't want to isolate yourself. But this is definitely a huge con. And if you're a person who's really close with your family and you really rely on your family, if you're going through a hard time, then I would reconsider if it's really good for you to move to a country far from your family, because it might be very difficult. Next pro, always something to do. So in big cities, there's always a lot to do. Not only is there always new exhibitions, cafes, restaurants, parks, or places to explore, there's also so many opportunities, which I also talked about this in another video before, in my video where I talk about the Shanghai filming experience, where my friend did a movie. My friend was a part of a movie. I'll put the video here. She was part of a movie and I was just like an extra. I didn't get paid, okay? But it was such a fun experience, and I don't know if I was in my hometown, would I have had that experience? I don't know, but I feel like in Shanghai, the opportunities are endless. I feel inspired. There's so many like artists and, you know, creative people here, and it really keeps me feeling like I can do whatever I really put my mind to. So that is a pro. Other con is the language barrier and communication problems, which you can't avoid this. When I first came to Shanghai, I tried to learn Chinese, but I was so young. Now I'm trying to learn again. I still have some problems studying by myself, but I'm trying to speak Chinese as much as I can. When I'm shopping, when the people call me, I do what I can, and most of the time they're very helpful and very like they want to understand you. Where I feel like if you're in the US, you don't speak English, we kind of give you a cold shoulder, like, oh, you don't speak English, blah blah blah. But you guys, we have to realize it's so hard when your native language is completely different. For example, if a Chinese person moves to the US, it's completely, the language, the tones, the style of speaking is completely different. So I really wish people had more patience with this. I feel like most people in Asia and in China are really patient and helpful. There are times when you get in some disagreements and misunderstandings, but that's just something you have to be prepared for if you move to a different country. Next pro is the melting pot. Make friends from all around the world. Why did I say it like that? But it's so true, you know. I don't have many American friends. I don't know many Americans here. I have one good American friend. I have South African friends, friends from England, Chinese friends, Russian and Ukrainian friends. I just really love meeting people from different cultures, and I love when people, like when you travel and you live abroad, you expand your mind and you change the way you originally used to think. And I think this is very healthy for the mind. I feel like in every culture and every person, you can find some type of common ground, and you also learn a little bit about yourself. And yeah, I don't know how to explain this, but to me it's a huge pro. It helps you as a person to grow when you meet different people and you hear different viewpoints on people's upbringing, on politics, on whatever. You just listen and yeah, I think it's great. I don't know how to explain this one, but it to me is a great pro. The other con here is the culture in Shanghai and China is really different. And sometimes it would be, I don't feel like I fit in with the Chinese culture. Not like they reject me. Some people maybe, sometimes they can be racist, but I think racism is all around the world. And also sometimes they're just fascinated by foreigners. So I also think with this, it really depends on how you want to look at it. The culture is different. I think here they value a lot money and face is appearance and how people perceive you. So sometimes things can feel really fake, and in some workplaces it's also very fake, and I quit working at those places because to me it just didn't resonate, and I just do things that I'm comfortable with and I believe. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, in China it's very face value. This is kind of normal in Asia. People will buy expensive cars even though they won't really be rich, just to show that they can afford these cars. Oh, the sun is moving. So I think that's a bit different. I don't really appreciate that, but I don't put myself into that bubble. I can avoid it, and that's fine for me. Also, food in China, food is a bit different, but I love to try new foods. Like my personality, I like to try this. Also in Shanghai, I can get pretty much any cuisine I want, which is amazing. Another con is China is dirty. They are a couple years behind. Technology is very advanced, but they are behind in like garbage. Although they are getting better in Shanghai, they have 4 different garbage cans to utilize and, you know, put the trash away. Also, they have street cleaners, but if you go to maybe other areas of China, people just throw their trash on the ground and they expect people to clean it up. This is just how like the older people were back 50 years ago, so they still do that, and maybe they're teaching their grandchildren or children to do that. So sometimes you see things that is just dirty and gross, like the spitting and the is gross. This is part of their culture. This is something I don't really like, but just ignore it because I live here. Last pro is China is super advanced. I have the WeChat app. WeChat is amazing. You can pay rent, pay your phone bill, buy plane tickets, buy train tickets, rent a movie, see people's like posts. They post about their life. There's also channels, which is like Instagram Reels. Also Alipay is like the same thing. Taobao. I have been getting my groceries delivered to me since I've lived in China. I don't go shopping. I don't like shopping really, so it's very convenient in that way. Returning things is very easy. You just put it on your phone, they pick it up at the time. Sometimes you pay a return fee, sometimes not, it depends. But yeah, that would be another pro. And the last con is two that I can put into one. It's that friends always leave, and moving abroad makes me feel confused and feel like I don't have a real home. Now when I went home, when I go to my hometown, I feel really confused. Like, I knew I grew up there, I know that's where I'm from, but I feel like you don't get to choose your hometown. So I just go there to meet my family, and I feel really weird when I'm there. And then when I'm in China, it's like, I love Shanghai, but it's not my hometown. I don't speak the home language. My family doesn't come visit me. My sisters came once, but it's like very far, and it's a confusing feeling. And you know when you live abroad that people are going to leave. It's just because you live in this metropolitan city. Your friends are not from here, so eventually people will leave, but we don't know when. Which leads me to my last point, which doesn't matter where you're from, which is just to live in the present moment and really enjoy your life. Because whether you're living in Shanghai, the US, in Europe, people are always gonna leave, whether it's through a breakup, whether it's through death, whether it's for a job opportunity. And I just hope that we can learn to live in the present moment and have great times with people that we enjoy and they enjoy us. And when it's time to go, we just let them go. And we don't put pressure on people. So, a bit different video, but I had a lot of people ask me some questions about this. That is some pros and cons about living in Shanghai, coming from an American, and I lived in Milwaukee, so the Midwest. If you guys have more questions or enjoyed this video, please comment below or follow my Instagram. I put my Instagram in the description, and ask me some questions and I will do a follow-up video about that. What are your own opinions and thoughts? Everything I say is from my perspective. It's not a fact, right? So I just want to help anyone who is considering moving to Asia. And yeah, thank you guys. Take care.